Grange is a very typical small town. A lot of people liken it to Mayberry from the old Andy Griffith series.
Life in LaGrange is very much like it was 20, maybe 40 years ago. It's a little slower, a little more relaxed, and not as high, fast-paced as the cities.
It's a pretty tight-knit community. You know, everybody knows kind of what's going on with everybody.
100 miles west of Houston sits the rural community of LaGrange, Texas, population 4,600.
Last year, in the seventh grade, my son Cross was getting in fights a lot, and it got really bad. And I was ready to go to the police and prosecute this boy because my son could not have a safe environment to learn.
We decided there was somebody needed to do something to try to help some of these at-risk kids. They're not bad kids, they just got nothing to do other than get in trouble.
And the first day of 8th grade, I dropped all of my children off at school and went to the superintendent's office, and I said, we have to do something here in LaGrange. We cannot go through another year like we did last year.
I truly believe that we don't need to reinvent the wheel. So Wendy and I started looking for a model program that we could take a look at and see how we could provide some structure for LaGrange ISD.
Wendy's research on school-based programs that provide support to at-risk kids ultimately led her to the idea of mentoring.
Wendy found a website with Spring Branch ISD in their mentoring program, and she shared that with me. I went to the Spring Branch website. We downloaded the information from Spring Branch, reviewed that, made contact with Spring Branch to see if we could set up a visit.
Located on the outskirts of Houston, Spring Branch ISD has touched the lives of almost 1,000 students since 2002, thanks to nearly 700 community mentors with the Springboard program.
I was really excited one day to receive an email from a mom in LaGrange who observed that there were a lot of students in her town that needed some extra support, that really didn't have an adult in their lives to help them. And she wrote a very passionate email and asked for help if we could be a resource or provide that resource for her.
Basically, when they asked us to come there, they had no clue as to where to start. They really wanted our guidance to kind of walk them through the whole process of how do you get started, where do you get your people, where do you get your mentors, what children do you mentor, how do you pick them for the program. So they really wanted to basically replicate our program over there.
Linda, along with 2 other of her coordinators, came to LaGrange, and they spent 2 hours with us going over the program. They covered what they felt would be needed for LaGrange ISD.
We talked about different components of the program and things that we had learned over the years that we knew it would be helpful for them to include in their program. And once they determined that they wanted to have adult to student and they wanted to have a school-based mentoring program, then boy, we were off and running because we could really narrow down and share our materials and share our structure and tell them what hadn't worked and what has worked.
We had to help refine their goals to help them see where was the right starting point, help them drill down to decide maybe we don't start so big, maybe we don't look at a whole school, maybe we look at a small grade level and start with one group rather than trying to be all things to all people.
We had a minor concern just because they have a large pool to pull from for mentors. They have a lot of, industry there. They've got companies there that are willing to have, give their people time off to come and mentor students. Whereas here at LaGrange, the largest employer is the district.
Well, right now we don't have any outside funding. The school district has come up with a small budget for us for our first year, and that budget is basically being used for paperwork, running off manuals, buying notebooks, buying supplies for activities for the kids and their mentors to work with. I went out and I talked to the Noon Lions Club, I talked to the Rotary Club, the Morning Lions Club. We put ads in the newspaper. We also printed out our own ads that we put around in businesses in the community, public places, the library, different things like that. in spoken churches.
Made a lot of phone calls. If I saw somebody in Walmart that I thought was really would be a good mentor, I mentioned it to them. Do you know about? I mean, that's how I pulled one of my last mentors. He was bringing his son up here to school, so I went out and caught him and said, this is this new program that we're doing. Would you be interested?
The original commitment that we asked for from our mentors when we first recruited them was to meet with that mentee once a week for 30 minutes and continue on through the rest of the school year at least, and then hopefully beyond that into the next school year. And our long-term goal is for them to actually follow them all the way through high school until they graduate.
I've lived around the world and done a lot in the business world, and I think I've got a lot to give back to the community. And I see this as an excellent opportunity to be able to get involved with young girls and make a difference in their lives.
I think the biggest motivation was that I got a chance to help someone. And that's the way I was brought up. You got a chance to help a child in every way you can. If you could reach a child, you could go home at night and you could rest a little bit, because every child doesn't have that opportunity.
I guess I just felt the need to be a positive influence in somebody's life, and I've had a lot of people help me in different ways through my life that I just felt like it was my chance to give back and help somebody else.
Our goal for our first year was to recruit 20 students and 20 mentors for the 7th grade, and we met that goal. We have a couple of mentors actually in waiting for next year.
In October of 2008, the Grange project coordinators made a special trip to Spring Branch ISD to learn about the mentor training process.
We let them just go through our regular 2-hour training that all of our mentors go through and observe it as potential mentors and also as ones who would have to then deliver that training. We then shared with them our mentor manuals and our training PowerPoint so that they would have the opportunity to take the best of what we had and adapt it to their community.
There are picnic tables out in front of the school. I think that's a perfect place to have a meeting. We have 2 gyms at the middle school, one they call the old gym.
Through the training process, we were talking to them about where they were going to meet with their mentee, when they were going to meet with their mentee, what do you do with them during that 30 minutes you're with them.
Be a listener. This is an important one. You're not there to be the advice giver, this is what you need to do, that's what you don't need to do, da-da. You really need to guide them to make choices and decisions, so a lot of it's going to be listening.
We gave them a whole mentor manual that has all kinds of activities and things in it that they can do and talk about with their mentee.
We were given handbooks, gone over the curriculum on how to act, what you can, what you cannot do, how to respond to the children, and generally to be there every day. When you have your meeting set up, be there every day.
We also talked very seriously about that relationship and the trust that's built into that relationship, and the only times that it's appropriate to break that trust is when there's abuse and those kinds of issues, and where to go if there were those kinds of issues so that they would feel comfortable if something did come up.
I was a little bit uneasy about how our students would react, and when we did a presentation for them in the auditorium, we really had a large number of students that really signed up, and from that large number of students we had to make we had to employ some selection criteria as far as which ones we were going to try to assist first.
This year we had 162 7th graders in here for the program, and we had 49 students that said yes, we would like to have a mentor. So we had our work cut out for us because we knew we weren't going to have 49 mentors this first year.
The mentoring program is really geared toward those children who are on the bubble, who have the abilities to make good decisions, who have not gone down the wrong road yet.
We looked at their absentee rate. We looked at discipline. We also looked at home life. We met with the counselor. And then we also made sure that we had all types of kids in there. I mean, we've got cheerleaders, we've got football players, we have those kids who don't do anything as far as UIL or athletics is concerned. We wanted to make sure that it was, open to all kids, and we weren't just picking on those that sometimes, stand out for the wrong reasons.
I thought about doing it because I need help. I'm usually always in trouble. And my grades are a little low. So I wanted a mentor.
I wanted a mentor because I wanted to talk to somebody except my parents and my friends. Someone that was old enough to understand than my parents, because at this age I really don't want to talk to them sometimes.
I hope to get somebody to talk to in this program, form a relationship with somebody I could talk to and I could trust.
As far as matching the mentors with their mentees, this time we had them fill out an interest inventory and kind of tell us the things that they like to do. Trevor says he doesn't like anything about school. His favorite subject is lunch.
Does he have a favorite? Okay, we're reaching for straws here. Is he a UT fan, an A&M fan, anything like that?
It's just difficult to match a kid with an adult in some cases, and especially when the kid is not really open to sharing a lot of things on the interest inventory. And so we did have to kind of just do some general matching up this time. So far it seems that it's worked out well that way.
After our second meeting, where we got into the grades, I asked him to pick one subject and to take the book home and study. And he did that. And after he did that, his grades came up, and it has moved on from just one subject to all of them.
I feel like he's like another father. I hope that I stay with him for a long time because I trust him.
I talked about how, my math wasn't really so good, so, and I was worried about the tax test. And so she said she was going to talk to my teachers.
Well, we went up to see her tutor, and it was like, somebody cares. Somebody's here to help me out, When I first said, let's go talk to her, I wasn't thinking how it would make her feel. But then once we got there, I could see this look on her face, Somebody got my back. It was just that simple.
He told me write down goals and put them in my mirror in my restroom. So I look in the mirror every morning and look at the goals.
I feel like I'm making a real connection with him. When I first met Trey, when he come in the office, it was sort of a shy. He was sort of shy. And now when he comes in the office, he walks up and he shakes my hand right away.
We're like best friends right now, basically.
The feedback that I get from the mentors, they're excited to come every day, and they're thanking me for having the opportunity to be involved with our students. Our students are always really excited about visiting with their mentors.
We're seeing some attitude changes in the classroom already. We're seeing some students who perhaps before didn't care as much are starting to care more about their grades and what's happening.
When I come now, he'll say, well, I'm doing good in my grades. And so you can see the change. And I think that is great. And of course, today he smiled for the first time. He said, well, I know you're going to ask about the grades.
We are so proud that Spring Branch ISD was able to help a small rural district like LaGrange figure out how to take really the best promising practices from what we had learned over 7 years and apply that in their small community. And I think what it proves for us is it's not the size of the school, it's not the size of the district, it's the size of the heart of the people who are really committed to making a difference in the lives of kids who need those adults to help them get through.
Maintaining the relationships over the summer, I think, is going to be a big challenge because the kid's not going to stop growing and changing in those 3 months that they're out of school, and we're not going to be able to follow those relationships through the summer just because we don't have the resources.
As we continue with the program, one of our challenges is bound to be getting enough mentors every year. You know, again, we're back to it's a small town. And after a while, you're going to tap your sources. I mean, there's, you know, I can see that happening.
Wendy McCarty was very committed to trying to help young people. And one individual with a passion to make a difference, trying to help, can start a program.
If the mentoring program succeeds as we hope it does, you're looking at improving the lives of not only the 20 or so children we touch every year through the different grades. You're talking about the whole community is getting better because of this program.
It's not just one person. I'm making a difference in my mentee, and then when she grows up and gets married, I'm even making a difference in her children's lives and her grandchildren's lives because I'm teaching her how to be a good role model to her children.
Wendy proves to all of us that it just takes one really dedicated person with passion and with vision and someone who's really willing to investigate and figure out how to solve problems to strengthen all of our communities. She's certainly a role model for us and should be a role model for people everywhere.
I honestly doubt that LaGrange ISD would have their mentor program without Wendy McCarty. I do not believe we would have started that program without one individual's desire to try to help.